Blueprints are a game changer in Satisfactory, and in this series, we'll be creating entire factories inside of these blueprints. Just plop them down, hook them up, and there you have it, a fully functional factory in seconds. Everything from the machines used, the power consumption, the resources required, and the items being produced will be mentioned throughout the video. Leave a comment down below for what you would like to see in the next episode. Very quick breakdown of blueprints. You can find them in phase 2 or tier 4 of the hub where it says Fix It Blueprints. There is a Mark 1, there is also a Mark 2, and a Mark 3. However, for today's examples and throughout this series, I'll just be using the Mark 1 so that everyone at home can easily follow along. What you see on screen is the difference between the three. My name's the Valhalla Pickle, and this is the easiest blueprint factories in Satisfactory 1.0. Today, we're building our reinforced iron plate blueprint factory. We are going to be needing 6 smelters, 7 constructors, and 3 assemblers. And in total, this consumes 97 megawatts of power and requires 150 iron ore and produces 12.5 reinforced iron plates. Now I'll be breaking down this blueprint into the 3 different levels to be easily showing you guys how to produce it and how all the logistics actually works. And this is what it looks like when I've divided it into 3 different levels. Let's start with floor number 1. This is going to be where your 150 iron ore enters your main blueprint itself. I have got signs here showing what's going in and at what rates, but what you could do instead is to write the inputs on the actual blueprint itself, as well as the items you are producing. With the input of a Mark 3 belt, this splits into a total of 6 different smelters, but in 2 different sections, and there's a reason for that. These 2 smelters here produce 37.5 iron ingots. This is exactly what we need to produce our screws. And on the other side of this wall, these 4 smelters are producing 112.5 iron ingots. And this is the exact amount we need for our iron plates. If you're looking at this floating power and you might be a bit confused, wondering, well, why is that floating there? Well, there's a logical reason behind it. But you have to remember that the second floor starts here. So no, the power isn't floating there, it's attached to the ceiling above. But I've got rid of the ceiling to make it easier for a spectating point of view. Now let's come round to the other side of the smelters, where again we've got our 5 smelters here and our 2 smelters here. These 2 smelters merge together underneath this catwalk, then come over here to go up this conveyor lift. And then these 5 smelters again merge together and they go right next to the previous conveyor belt, parallel with that, up again to the second floor, which we'll talk about in just a minute. That is all the main logistics sorted for the first floor, but I've also added some extra things as well. I suppose let's start with the stairs right here. You get a better view of these smelters like what we've been able to see earlier, and you also get a better view right here of these conveyor belts going up to the second logistics floor. You can also come around here where there's one door right there, and there's another door over here as well, both leading you to the same place. So when you come down here, you can then see we've actually added something down here, which is our crafting bench. So you can make whatever you want in this area. And that's essentially floor number 1 finished. Now let's move on to floor number 2. And on floor number 2, things might look a little bit more complicated, but trust me, it's actually very simple. Just very quickly, if you guys find videos like this rather helpful, please do let me know in the comments down below, because I'm planning to release a few more over the next couple of weeks. Also, do make sure to subscribe, because then you'll get notified whenever one of these videos comes out. Thank you, back to the video. Here we have got our 2 conveyor belts coming up from the first logistics floor. This belt right here provides the 112.5 iron ingots going over to these 4 constructors. The first 3 constructors are at a 100% clock speed, whereas the very last constructor over here is at a 75% clock speed, because if I was to do this, we'll be making too many iron plates for what we're using, and we'll be consuming too many iron ingots, and we have to be making 75 iron plates. This then merges together on this conveyor belt, and then it goes up here to our 3rd logistics floor. But we've still got one more thing to talk about, and that is the screws. The screws travel down from here, then go into these 3 constructors where none of them are over or underclocked. They are all at 100% efficiency. They then merge together, then come up this conveyor lift right here. So this is actually very, very simple. And we've managed to fit all of this into a relatively small blueprint area, which I'm rather happy with. And now we have got floor number 3, where we've got our 3 assemblers down here, using the 150 screws per minute coming from here. And we've also got the 75 iron plates coming from down here. On the top layer, we have got our 150 screws. On the bottom layer, we've got 150 iron plates. The reason as to why I've done an elevated splitter up here is to avoid something like this. I've done this just as the example. As you can see, we've got our screws and our iron plates both on the same floor here, where they just look really, really bad. So if you actually elevate one of your inputs, it does end up looking a lot better, and it saves your conveyor belts from splitting and merging all over the place, which I much prefer. So now our 12.5 reinforced iron plate comes out of the assemblers and merges together. We then come here to our smart splitter, where at the moment everything will be splitting to the right side, which goes towards our dimensional depot. You can then access these iron plates by typing in reinforced iron plates, and you can collect them right there. However, let's say this belt actually fills up. Then we have got this storage container, which will then fill up itself. When this is fully filled up, everything here will be backed up. If you don't want this to happen, you can just add a conveyor lift coming down here, then going straight into an awesome sink where you can destroy everything. However, if this does back up and you want it to back up, it means that none of this will then work, saving you a bunch of power, but obviously it then means that you're not producing any more reinforced iron plates. So your two options is to either add more storage, which is possible, either link it to an awesome sink, or to have it back up and to save you out some storage. It's completely up to you. And just like that, you've got yourself 12.5 reinforced iron plates per minute in 3 very simple logistics floors. So now let's see what this thing actually looks like now that it's being built and fully operational. Firstly, all the smelters are now working, and a bunch of iron ingots are being produced. However, because this is a manifold system, it does mean that items are going to take a bit longer to get to here than it was to get to the very first smelter, but obviously over time this will balance out. When it comes to the second floor, we can see that everything is moving fantastically. Of course, we are making our screws over here, which eventually go up to the third logistics floor, and on the other side we are now making our iron plates, which will take a little bit longer to make, but as you can see, they are most certainly being produced. Moving on to floor number 3, and we can see that the items are flowing completely fine. The screws are taking a little bit longer to come up, but again, this is a manifold system, so give it about 10 minutes and everything should be working completely fine. If we actually check our assemblers though, we should hopefully be able to see, yes, okay, fantastic, so we are making a good amount of reinforced iron plates already. And when this fills up to 100 and this fills up to 500, the remainder of the iron plates and screws will then come over here. Then the remainder of that then comes over this side. But as we can see, everything's working really, really good right now, which is fantastic to see. And of course, the reinforced iron plates are being uploaded to the dimensional depot. So we should be able now to type in reinforced iron plates. And right now we're on 53. It should now go up to 54. There we go. Lovely. Just like that, we have managed to make a 12.5 per minute reinforced iron plates blueprint factory in Satisfactory 1.0. That is an absolute mouthful of a sentence to say, but we've done it anyway. And as always, thank you very much for watching. But before we go, a massive thank you to our members, Mau Mau, Skull and Hattie, Lo, Nitormal, Chaos Rising, Cutthroat Zoo, Yamikel, and Tio Rico.